was a little bit sick, but I'm better and I'm glad to see you all. I hope you're all doing good in your bubbles. Hopefully see you soon, but in the wee while, I'm doing really well. I practiced getting organized, and I found in my old books my favorite book. It's called The Mermaid Princess. In a tropical ocean lay a small green island surrounded by sandy beaches and coral reefs. A high tide, when the sea covered the reef, it flowered like a magic garden, filled with beautiful fish, swaying plants, and strange green sea creatures. There was only one house on the island. It lived two children, John and Wendy, and their parents. It was at holiday time. John and Wendy's father spent all day in his boat fishing, and their mother was busy writing a book. Wendy was recovering from the flu and was too weak to do anything. She just lay on the beach gazing out to sea or down into the big coral pool not far from the window. Nothing seemed to interest her. She can see her brother swimming in the ponds outside. John spent his time wandering over the reef at low tide. When he found something really unusual, he would bring it inside to show Wendy. All the while, he was being watched by someone very small hidden amongst the coral. It was Sandy the seahorse pixie. Sandy lived in the sandcastle decorated with bits of green and white sea smooth glass. Can you see it? It's a pixie and his shells. I wonder what is going to happen. Each early morning, Sandy pushed his little cart along the tideland to see what would happen. We pushed up. He found bean pods and shells, wheat, while he used to keep things in, and sticks for his fire. But what he liked the most was pieces of coloured glass. He always hoped to find really colourful ones with sparkled blue and red, but somehow he never found them. One morning, Sandy was amazed to find a beautiful mermaid sitting amongst the coral. He told Sandy that her name was Marina and that she had been riding on her pet dolphin, Silverfin, when she suddenly chased up a huge shark. The dolphin had tossed her aside so she would be safe and then sped off. But I cut my tail to sharp coral, she told the pixie, so now I can't swim home. What's going to happen? Do you think he's going to help her? Look, the seaweed stuck. Sandy didn't know what to do. He knew that when the tide returned, it would sweep the mermaid away and she would get hurt again. Just then, John appeared to the reef. Sandy quickly hid. The little pixie John was too big as a giant. Oh, a bit scared of the little pixie. A real mermaid, exclaimed John. I've just got to show her to Wendy. He carefully picked up Marina and carried her onto the coral pool near his sister's window. Look. John ran inside Wendy. He called, I've found a real-life mermaid. I put her on the coral pool so you can go see her through your window. Wendy sat up and looked out the pool. Sure enough, there was a mermaid. She was calmly tidying her golden hair. At last, something did interest Wendy. Isn't she beautiful? She cried. Yes, we must keep her a secret, said John, or it might be taken away and put back to the marina. Do you think they're going to look after her? I hope so. That night, the moon had risen high in the sky. Wendy awoke with a start. She looked out the window. Yes, the mermaid was still there. She was a tiny little figure. Wendy got up rather shakily and tiptoed to wake John. Together they slipped out of the house and down to the coral pool. Please talk to us, Wendy begged. We only want to help you. So Sandy introduced himself and Marina to the children. Then Marina told her story. Somehow we must tell Maria's people where she is and they come and fetch her. So John, when they finished, I could go, said Sandy. I have a boat. Sandy said he would anchor the boat to the edge of the reef and dive down to look for the mermaid's underworld city. But how will you breathe underwater? Asked John. Seahorse pixies can breathe underwater as well as on land, Sandy replied. Maria said he would never snack for the journey and give him some biscuits for the ride. I like biscuits too. Sandy sailed on his boat down the anchor just beyond him, and then he bravely let himself sink down to the dark water till he landed on the seafloor. With each surge of the sea, he could hear a bell softly chiming. Faint lights glimmered in the distance. Sandy set off down to the sand towards them, feeling sure he was coming from the underground city. Look, he's on the sand, and there's the boat and the shipwreck. Oh, and some fish. I could see a seahorse. He walked all night. Then the sun rose. A soft radiance lit the underground water. Sandy could see huge shipwrecks on the seafloor, not far from where the open treasure chest would spill up jewels onto the sand. To Sandy, the jewels looked like prettiest things he's ever seen. He longed to pick them up, to take them home, but he didn't because he felt sure they belonged to the mer people underground. Look, it's a shipwreck. Oh, lots of fish, and there's the pixies. At last he could see the underwater city in the distance. He was almost at the end of his journey. He can see a little town far away. Oh no. Suddenly, sure as the fish swam past him. Look out! Here comes a shark, he called. Sandy just had time to hide inside an empty giant clamshell before the shark spotted him. You'll have to come out sooner or later, the shark snared threateningly. Poor Sandy was very frightened. I'll be frightened too. Big sharks getting there. Sandy suddenly realized he was starving. Then he remembered Maria's biscuits when he ate straight away. Suddenly, a gleaming white dolphin came flashing through the water. It was Silverfin. He made straight for the shark, followed by many other dolphins. The shark realized it was outnumbered and sped away. Then Silverfin carried him swiftly to the city of the mer people. It was the mermaid's dolphin. He looked after him. Wow. I can see a king and queen. Before long, Sandy was telling the mer people about what happened to Maria. It turned out that she was a mermaid princess and the youngest daughter of the king. Take us to her, said the king. So Sandy proudly led the way to Silverfin, where the mer people and Maria's sisters and brothers followed her on the dolphins. Hopefully she can be safe. Wendy stood on the beach with Sandy and watched the John carry Maria out to the coral. When they had gone beyond the reef, Maria said, "Thank you so much. You've all been so kind to me," and then slipped from John's arms with a splash of the gleaming tail on her way. Maria joyfully greeted her beloved dolphin Silverfin and was soon surrounded by her family and friends. It was a sight that John and Wendy will have never forgotten. The next morning, when Sandy pushed his cart along the sea tide as usual, he was overjoyed to find a thank you gift from the mer people. Can you see what it is? Got some treasure. It was a chest full of brightly coloured jewels. So now Sandy's castle really sparkles in the sunshine, just as he'd always dreamed it would. Look, it's covered. I really like that book. It brings families and friends together, which I think is really important in these times. I think the power of magic is just friends and family, and I hope you're all well, and it gave a little bit of a sparkle for your Wednesday. Bye guys!